Do you realize how many people have a fatty liver? But here's the cool thing. There's a recent study, I did an entire video on this. Within 14 days in the ketogenic diet, you can reduce up to 50% of the fat off of your liver by keeping your carbs under 30 grams a day.
Meet Dr. Berg, a chiropractor turned health educator extraordinaire, known affectionately as the Knowledge Doc. With over 30 years of experience and a Doctor of Chiropractic degree from Palmer College, he's an established authority in the realm of healthy keto and intermittent fasting. From government officials like the FBI to everyday individuals, Dr. Berg's clientele is as diverse as his knowledge base. With a YouTube following of 18 million subscribers and 100 million monthly views, his digital footprint is vast, yet his commitment to research remains unwavering, constantly exploring the underlying causes of disease.
We're going to talk about the top foods that can ruin and destroy your liver. I'm talking from a lot of experience because I have ruined my liver from the foods that I've eaten in the past. That was my weak link, and I had no idea at the time I was destroying my liver. So as I go through these foods, don't be offended. I'm just increasing awareness. And these are really common foods.
In today's video, with the help of Dr. Berg, we will unveil 5 liver-damaging snacks that not only harm your liver, but also compromise your overall health and well-being. And that's not all. Stick around with us until the end, as we'll also offer healthier alternatives you can eat instead. Number 1, whey protein powder.
Whey protein powder. Now think about what whey protein powder is. It's a protein in milk, and dairy, and it's highly concentrated to be extremely low fat, if not zero fat, okay? And anytime you consume something that's refined out of the normal complex that nature has designed, it comes with a package. And so whey protein is inflammatory. It's a bit toxic to the liver. It increases inflammatory markers. And I remember long ago, before I had any awareness on health, I wanted to gain weight. Okay, this was in high school. And so what did I do? I consumed protein powder, and I started chowing that stuff down, and man, did I get sick.
If you have ever been crazy about fitness, then you must have used or heard about whey protein powder. It is one of the most popular dietary supplements among fitness enthusiasts and is hugely valued for its high protein content and fast absorption rate. However, recent studies have raised concerns about the negative effects it can have on the liver. One study published in the journal Hepatology found that excessive consumption of whey protein could lead to liver damage. The researchers discovered that subjects who consumed large amounts of whey protein experienced increased levels of certain liver enzymes, indicating liver stress or damage. A prolonged use of whey protein powders like Muscle Milk's whey protein powder has been associated with an increased risk of developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a condition characterized by the accumulation of fat in the liver. One of the primary roles of the liver is its function in metabolizing protein, so excessive protein intake from a snack like whey protein powder can overload the liver, leading to liver dysfunction. Whey protein also contains high levels of branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, particularly leucine, which have been linked to liver injury in animal studies. Additional research has shown that some whey protein supplements may contain additives or contaminants that can further exacerbate liver damage. In fact, according to the Drug-Induced Liver Injury Network, DILIN, protein supplements, including whey protein, are among the leading causes of liver injury in the United States. While whey protein powder can be a convenient way to increase protein intake, it is actually not necessary to take it. The recommended daily intake of protein for adults is approximately 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. For an average sedentary adult weighing 70 kilograms, this amounts to around 56 grams of protein per day. This means that most people can easily meet their protein needs through a balanced diet that includes lean meats, poultry, fish, dairy products, legumes, and nuts without the need for supplemental protein powders. However, for athletes and individuals engaged in intense physical training, the protein requirements may be higher. In such cases, it's important to consult with a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian to determine the appropriate dosage of protein supplementation and to monitor liver health regularly. Number 2, nachos.
In college, I would take this can of cheese something and pour that on these chips, right, with salsa. So of course in the chips you have the corn flour, which is all GMO, with glyphosate, another chemical. And then you have all the oils, right? And then we have the cheese sauce, right? Be lucky if there's actually cheese in the cheese sauce. And also, let's say, for example, you go somewhere to a fast food restaurant, right, where they're doing deep frying. How many times did they actually change the oil? A lot of times they won't change it for weeks, sometimes months, and you're getting your food fried in there over and over and over again. That's going to create a lot of oxidative stress to your cells if you eat the food that's fried in there. It's usually going to be a carbohydrate.
For many people, nachos are a fantastic and great tasting snack. The amazing combination of melted cheese, crispy tortilla chips, and endless toppings have made them fan favorites for a lot of people. While having a plate of nachos once in a while might be safe, regular consumption can lead to liver damage in a number of ways. One of the primary culprits is the high fat content found in nachos. Nachos are often loaded with cheese, sour cream, and fried chips, all of which are notoriously high in saturated fat. As such, making nachos a regular feature in your meals can lead to the accumulation of fatty deposits in the liver. This condition is known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. As such, the American Heart Association recommends limiting saturated fat intake to less than 10% of daily calories. And with about 38% of the global population affected by non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, according to the Journal of Hepatology, the use of trans fats, sometimes found in commercially prepared cheese or processed chips, is even more detrimental and should be avoided altogether. Furthermore, the toppings commonly found on nachos can increase the risk of liver damage. Processed meats like ground beef or pork are often used, adding to the saturated fat content while also introducing harmful additives such as nitrates and excess sodium. These toppings can also contribute to liver damage by raising blood pressure and promoting inflammation. Also, the refined carbohydrates present in nacho chips can be as well dangerous to the liver. These carbs quickly convert to sugar in the body, causing spikes in blood glucose levels. Over time, frequent consumption of refined carbohydrates can contribute to insulin resistance, a key driver of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and its progression to more severe liver conditions like non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. So what can you take instead? Firstly, you can ditch the deep-fried chips and opt for baked or air-fried tortilla chips, which are healthier. Second, you can also choose low-fat cheese or use smaller quantities to enjoy the flavor, thereby reducing your intake of saturated fat. Then, you can switch up your toppings a bit by adding colorful veggies like bell peppers, onions, and black beans. These all add fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants and are beneficial for your liver. Lastly, you can substitute fatty meats with leaner options like grilled chicken or shredded fish. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. If you find our videos helpful, please support us by dropping your comments in the comment section. Number 3, canned meat products.
So in college, I didn't have a lot of money. So I'd go to these discounted grocery stores and get these canned Hormel chilies and all these different canned meats. I'm not talking about sardines or canned tuna. I'm talking about canned meat like Spam and all sorts of stuff. And with those canned meats, they add in there corn flour, modified cornstarch, textured soy flour. They're adding all these other stuff in there. Not good, because when you combine a carbohydrate with a fat or a carbohydrate with a protein especially, you're gonna create that glycation again. And that glycation is gonna plug up the liver. It can go into the tissues in the eyes, into the heart, the arteries, into the brain, all over the place. Again, not only increasing inflammation, but also increasing insulin, which actually creates more fat.
For many people, canned meat products offer an undeniable convenience. You can easily get a quick protein source. However, there have been concerns about their potential impact on our health, particularly the liver. While canned meat isn't exactly bad or dangerous, understanding how this convenient food works can help you live longer. One of the biggest concerns with canned meats is their high sodium content. According to experts, a single serving can easily pack over 400 milligrams of sodium, which can easily push you beyond the American Heart Association's recommended daily limit of 2,300 milligrams. This is especially dangerous for those with high blood pressure or at risk of cardiovascular disease. Studies have also shown a link between excessive sodium intake and increased liver stiffness, a potential precursor to fibrosis, which is the buildup of scar tissue in the liver. Also contained in canned meats are nitrates and nitrites, which are preservatives that extend shelf life but have raised concerns in the health community. According to the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer, nitrates and nitrites have been classified as possibly carcinogenic or cancer-causing. While the evidence is not conclusive, some studies have shown a link between processed meats containing these additives and an increased risk of liver cancer. Canned meat products like Spams, Great Values, or Keystone's offerings can also be high in saturated fat and cholesterol. Excessive saturated fat consumption can contribute to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a condition where excess fat accumulates in the liver. As such, the American Heart Association recommends limiting saturated fat intake to no more than 13 grams per day for a 2,000-calorie diet. So, what can you take instead? You can go for any fresh or frozen meat products instead of the canned ones. These would include chicken, fish, beef, pork, or even tofu or tempeh. Seek to minimize processed foods as much as possible. Number 4. Canned tomato soup.
Tomato soup, but there's probably other ones too. And I happened to look at the ingredients in this tomato soup, which I also used to consume a lot of. And they're not just tomatoes in there. There is a ton of sugar and wheat flour and other chemicals. And just in 1/2 of a cup, that's 4 ounces. That's just a tiny bit. There's actually 4 teaspoons of sugar, 16 grams of sugar. And who consumes a 1/2 of a cup of the soup? You're going to eat the whole can, right? I mean, at least one. And what does that come out to? That's actually 8 teaspoons of sugar. It creates fat, and it creates inflammation and oxidative stress.
While this may come as a surprise to many, canned tomato soup can negatively affect the liver. On the other hand, tomatoes themselves are a source of vitamins and antioxidants. This disparity is caused by the additional ingredients that are added in the canned tomato. Just like in canned meat products, the number one problem of canned tomato soups is its high sodium content. A single can of Campbell's condensed tomato soup, or Kiknos, can easily exceed 40% of the recommended daily limit of 2,300 milligrams. Excessive sodium intake is linked to high blood pressure, which can indirectly affect liver health over time. Then, there is the problem of added sugars. Sugary drinks and processed foods are major contributors to added sugar intake in the modern diet. The American Heart Association recommends limiting added sugars to 25 grams for women and 36 grams for men daily. But surprisingly, many brands of canned tomato soup contain large amounts of added sugars, further contributing to a potential burden on the liver. There is also bisphenol A or BPA. BPA is a chemical sometimes used in the lining of canned goods. While research on the long-term effects of BPA on the liver is ongoing, many studies suggest a potential link between BPA exposure and fatty liver disease. While there's no direct evidence that canned tomato soup alone causes liver damage, the combination of high sodium, added sugars, and potential BPA exposure might contribute to a less than ideal environment for liver health, especially when consumed regularly. So, what should you take instead of this? 1. Homemade soup. Making your own tomato soup allows you to control the ingredients. Use fresh tomatoes, vegetable broth, and natural herbs for a flavorful and healthy option. 2. Low-sodium options. Several brands offer low-sodium canned tomato soup. Look for varieties with minimal added sugars and BPA-free labels. 3. Focus on fresh produce. Fresh tomatoes are a great source of lycopene, an antioxidant beneficial for liver health. You can take this instead of the canned products. Number 5. Fried foods.
I'm talking about the fried foods. Maybe at a restaurant, you're going to get these fried things, which are not going to be fried in healthy oils. They're going to be fried in seed oils like corn, canola, cottonseed, soy oil. All of those are GMO, so you're going to get the glyphosate. And yes, they're very inflammatory, but another thing that these seed oils do, which are omega-6 oils, is they tend to invade our tissues and become part of our cell membranes. We're not even talking about the effects of that down the road. Not good, especially if it's in your arteries and it's making things very, very brittle and very inelastic.
Fried foods are a problem for many food lovers. The fact that something that delicious and tasty comes with a hidden cost to your liver health can be problematic for many consumers. When it comes to fried foods, there are 2 main culprits: unhealthy fats and advanced glycation end products. Let's take a look at unhealthy fats first. French fries, like the ones you get at KFC or McDonald's, are drenched in oil, which significantly increases their saturated and trans fat content. Research published in the journal Hepatology found a direct link between high saturated fat intake and increased liver fat accumulation, a risk factor for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The American Heart Association also recommends limiting saturated fat intake to less than 10% of daily calories. Trans fats, often found in commercially fried foods, are even more dangerous and should be avoided altogether. Advanced glycation end products or AGEs.
And so when you take a high heat, you take a starch, okay, and you cook it with a fat, it binds and it develops something called
Advanced glycation end products.
It's this form of glycation, basically, where you're bonding a fat to a sugar, okay, because that carbohydrate is going to break down the sugar, and then it's going to create problems and build up and accumulate and create inflammation, okay? Where? Liver, other tissues. Here's another chip that I used to consume massive amounts. Okay, let's see what's in here. We have potatoes, all right, vegetable oil, corn, cottonseed. We have also soy oil. Then we have corn flour, rice flour, maltodextrin. Okay, can't forget that. And wheat starch. This will definitely increase your blood sugar, and it's going to turn into sugar really quick. Probably with the maltodextrin, it's definitely over 100 on the glycemic index. So you're going to be converting a lot of this to fat on your liver, and that's not going to be good.
The high heat used in frying triggers the formation of AGEs. These compounds stiffen proteins and fats in the body, including those in the liver. Research in Clinica Chimica Acta suggests that AGEs can contribute to inflammation and fibrosis, scarring in the liver, potentially leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease progression. The effect of all these on the liver can be very catastrophic, as the excessive saturated and trans fats from fried foods overload the liver with fat. Normally, the liver processes and breaks down fat for energy. However, with a constant intake, the liver struggles to keep up. This leads to fat accumulation within the liver cells, a condition known as steatosis. While steatosis itself isn't life-threatening, it's the first stage of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If left unchecked, chronic inflammation and further damage can occur, potentially progressing to more severe liver conditions like cirrhosis. The prevalence of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is also on the rise, affecting an estimated 25 to 30% of adults in developed countries. This increase has been linked to unhealthy dietary habits, including high consumption of fried foods. According to the CDC, roughly 1/3 of American adults consume fast food daily, with fried options heavily represented. Additionally, the American Heart Association reports that nearly half of Americans eat fast food at least weekly. To protect your liver and reduce the risk of damage associated with fried foods, you can opt for healthier cooking methods that use less oil, such as baking, grilling, steaming, or sautéing. You can also choose foods rich in healthy fats, like avocados, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish, which can support liver health and overall well-being. If you're someone who wants to learn even more about healthy eating, watch my next video where I'll cover 5 snacks that can help prevent leaky gut.